Episode 3 of Running It Back with Patrick Ramirez is right here, right now. This week on the show, Travis Tate joins me, longtime friend and comic from Salt Lake City, my former home. Travis brought up an interesting idea for this episode. He's a wrestling fan, and it was suggested we do a Running It Back on the movie No Holds Barred. There aren't very many movies about wrestling, and as I rewatched the movie, I think I know why. But we dissected the movie, the mess that is No Holds Barred. And ultimately, we're better for it. So, lather yourself up, put on your favorite bandana, and forget all concept of story structure. We wouldn't have this problem if you just stay on your side of the bed. No Holds Barred, right now! Travis Tate, hello. What's going on, man? You are joining me on Running It Back.
What's up, Pat? How you doing, man? I'm doing good.
Excellent.
How about you?
Doing real
Nice.
good. Camo hat, black t-shirt.
That's right.
What's
You're never going to see me coming.
Wait, did you just leave the screen? Oh, no, there you go.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I know. I'm still here. It was so fast you didn't even see. I went and got a Dr. Pepper. Boom. Brought to you by Dr. Pepper.
I think you brought up the most interesting topic to me in like 5 years of movies to watch, because you're a wrestling guy and I'm not a wrestling guy. And so we're like, hey, let's talk wrestling. I'm like, what do I know about wrestling? You're like, watch No Holds Barred. You're like, all right, yeah, I'll watch it. So we're diving into No Holds Barred now.
Yes. I can't get the finger thing right. Rip 'em. Rip 'em. I think your finger's like that. I don't know. It's a weird arthritic looking thing.
No Holds Barred, 1989 was the year. So
It was a great year. I was 12.
12 years old. Start me off. Where did you see this movie?
I saw this movie in my parents' basement, I believe. I didn't see it in theaters. This was when I remember I wanted to go see it, and my parents were saying, it looks pretty dumb. And you know what? They weren't wrong. But I had to see it when it came out on video, and I watched it about 5 times.
So you saw it on video. You were kind of a second wave of seeing it, huh?
Yeah. It was kind of like girls my age were super into like Teen Witch, that movie Teen Witch.
Mm-hmm.
I never did see it, but this was my Teen Witch. No Holds Barred.
Was it? This was an important movie to you? Is that what you're saying?
It was not important because I thought it was good. It was important because it was so bad. It was like one of those, you know how people love movies because they're so bad they just keep watching them over and over. This was the first movie I had like that where I was like, I gotta watch that again. It's just the dumb quotes, the acting's horrible. It's a ridiculous plot. Everything about it was just, you could just put it on and start laughing.
Yeah, just to like catch up. This is like Hulk Hogan's coming out party, I guess, to the movie industry. It's like,
I think the first thing he did was probably Rocky 3, and that was a few years ago. Yeah, where he played Thunder Lips. But this was the big starring role.
Yeah, this was his big coming out party. This was his Goodwill Hunting. So yeah, 1989. I saw it in the theaters.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure my uncle took me and my brother to see it. Now thinking about it, I was like, yeah, my parents must have been like, yeah, you take them, go see whatever.
It's hard to believe that. It's hard to believe it actually went to the theaters though.
Yeah,
I mean, we make way more movies nowadays than we did back then. Back then, you maybe 1, maybe 2 new movies a week. Now you can get like a dozen every week. So it was rare. So the fact that this actually made it that far to the movie theaters and people went and saw it, mind blowing.
And like, as far as being surprised by a movie, this is right up there with like Dog Day Afternoon to me. Just like, this is the plot of this movie. This movie
it is a pretty ridiculous plot.
This movie is outrageous. So let's dive into it. You rewatched the movie. I rewatched the movie. What surprised you about it?
The thing that surprises me is the plot of the movie is that Kurt Fuller plays, let's see, I wrote down the name. He plays Brell. He's an
Brell, right?
executive
The
of the
snarky
World
executive.
Television. Yeah, he's the executive of the World Television Network, and they're last in the ratings. But the channel that's first in the ratings has wrestling. It has WWF, and their biggest star, Rip, because it's not Hulk Hogan, it's Rip. No last name, just Rip.
Yeah,
So his answer to his ratings woes is to go out and sign one wrestler to be a part of his network. That would be like if the Hallmark Channel signed Tom Brady, thinking it would bring football fans in. No team, no games, just we signed this person.
Mm-hmm.
That's the plot of the movie. And then when he refuses because he's loyal to his employer, all hell breaks loose.
Yeah.
And a little Dukey.
First question I had rewatching it was, is this a world where wrestling is real? Like these are real people? Because he wrestles the opening match and then he goes to the executive office and he's still wearing all his like wrestler regalia.
Yeah,
like,
did you notice he
like a real world? What's
in that scene where he goes to the office? He's dressed like the A-Team van. He's dressed all in black with some like red stripes going through every once in a while. But yeah, I think there's no other sports as far as I can tell, and wrestling is real.
Yes. Yeah. So once you know that, you're like, okay, this is the ride I'm in for. So this is a world where wrestling is real, and this character Rip, played by Hulk Hogan, is the Michael Jordan of this world. So I'll tell you
He's everything.
I'll tell you what surprised me rewatching it was all the women violence. It is rough. There are some rough parts. There's a part where Zeus, the main bad guy, I think picks up a woman by the head.
Yeah, by her face.
Throws her into a bunch of beer barrels. And then there's a part where Brell, the evil executive, just open hand slaps the lady.
Yeah, just knocks her down.
This is 1989. It was rough. I was like, whoa. I might be leaving out something too.
But I'm sure there was more. I think with that fight at the diner, I'm sure a lady got hit with a pie or something.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, that's what surprised me is like, whoa, this has got a lot of women violence in this movie. So
this is kind of it's on the level of Roadhouse. Like I think Roadhouse is a ridiculous movie too. And the plot of that is kind of similar. It's like we run this bar and the bad guy doesn't want us to be successful at running the bar, so we're going to go to war. It's kind of like, it's just that ridiculous. It's just Roadhouse for kids, basically.
Yeah, it is odd. It goes in all sorts of places very quickly. So next next category, I'm calling the next category plot the hole. So plot holes in the movie. Your biggest plot hole in the movie.
The biggest plot hole, actually, I already mentioned, is that they just want to sign one wrestler. They're not trying to get all of WWF to switch networks. They're just trying to sign one wrestler, which is a ridiculous premise. And then also the fact that for some reason his brother goes to the ring with him and ends up going to go see Zeus on Battle of the Tough Guys. That's also another plot hole, that a network TV show would show real fights of guys fighting to death in a bar called Battle of the Tough Guys. Yeah,
my biggest plot hole is at the beginning, Brell wants to sign Rip to his network, and Rip won't do it. He says, "No, I'm not wrestling on your network. I'm loyal." Then, by the end of the movie, when Zeus pisses Rip off, they do wrestle on the network. That was the whole thing that he was against. And then Zeus looks at him weird, and he goes and wrestles him on the network. So I was like, what happened to the whole thing? And then where's Rip's network? Why couldn't they wrestle on his network?
Right. Yeah. Another plot hole is, so the woman, Sam, that we get introduced to, the love interest, she is originally like his business manager or something like that. Like
Right.
she's trying to get him endorsements and things like that. But then you find out later in the movie that she was secretly working with the evil network. And we don't
Right.
even know how that came to
We
fruition.
don't know how that came to be. That was a weird turn. I was like, oh, what? That's that was strange. Leads me to my next plot hole. I could take about 90% less of the two little like executive flunky dudes and about 90% more of the Samantha executive assistant character. She's the only thing that saves this movie. She's
Yeah.
like actually believable in this movie.
Yeah, she seems like an actual actress. I kind of looked up on her IMDb, and she's done a lot of things, like little small parts here and there, but she's been in a lot of successful things. But yeah, she is the most likable character. And then of course they punch her, give her a black eye. But
Mhm.
the way she falls for Rip is very weird and creepy, and just Rip is creepy. Hulk Hogan, for some reason, I've seen him my whole life in wrestling tights, and it's never bothered me. But when you see him in little orange bikini shorts, it's very
Oh
off-putting.
right, yeah. When he sleeps in the hotel room, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And also, Rip Hulk Hogan has, I think he says 17 words in the whole movie. It's 70% of this movie is screaming. They're always screaming.
yeah, he's he's done a
Yeah,
lot of that. There's
he
the one
screams.
scene, that scene in the boardroom where he meets Sam for the first time, and she's like trying to say, this is our strategy to get you more endorsements and things like that. And she's walking around the table, and he's in front of a dozen people, and he's going, ooh, ooh. He's like checking out her ass, and it's like, yeah. It's so weird.
It's the strangest thing. Yeah, it's the weirdest thing. I looked up a couple stats on it. It's 11% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Wow.
I think it's lucky to get that too. And then I looked this up as a piece of no holds barred trivia. This was a script that Vince McMahon and Hulk Hogan got, and then they decided to rewrite it so it could be a better movie. So somewhere in this world, there is a rough draft of this movie. This was the improved version of the movie after they rewrote it.
I've listened to a podcast about it, and I know for a fact that Vince McMahon wrote the Dukey scene. So there's a scene, if you haven't seen this movie, where the limo driver, after Rip refuses to sign with the evil guys, takes him for a ride. He's going to take him to a warehouse so a bunch of people can beat him up because he doesn't want to join the network.
Right.
And so he beats up all the bad guys, and then he pulls the limo driver out of the limo, and Hulk starts going, what's that smell? And then they show a picture of the guy's butt, and it's like all brown. It looks like chocolate syrup, and he goes, Dukey.
Right.
And that was a Vince McMahon scene right there.
That was his contribution, his writer's contribution.
I think so. Basically, poop.
It is really weird that the whole strategy to get Rip was he's the strongest wrestler dude, and the strategy is to go send some like weaklings to go beat him up. That was the whole strategy. He obviously can beat up everybody, and then the one thing that he walks away from is when the dude shits his pants, and he's like, all right, you crossed the line.
I kind of feel there's a scene in there where he has to share a bed with Samantha because they're on a road trip, and he puts up a sheet in between them, kind of like there's a little line in between us here, and she can just hear him going.
That was weird too.
Yeah, so she's like, what is happening over there? And she looks, and you see these two things pointing up. You don't even know what they are. Turns out it's his heels. He's like got his feet on the bed and his arms on the floor, and he's doing push-ups. But it was totally like you were supposed to think he was like jerking off or something. It was like Louis C.K. probably wrote that scene. I don't know.
It did not work for me. It was gross. First of all, it was the old, we only got one motel room trick. Then I never seen anybody try and split a bed like that, where he puts a piece of athletic tape on the wall and he hangs a sheet over it. So he kind of splits them. I've never seen anybody attempt that. And I'm like, well, what about just trying to sleep on the floor? Very
Yeah,
strange.
that's what a gentleman would have done. Like they show him like he's a gentleman that does all this charity work and stuff like that. So yeah, you would have slept on the floor or
Yeah,
in the bathtub. I don't know, somewhere.
yeah, it's forced. It's a forced scene, and poor Hulk Hogan is just like trying his best to like kind of like act normal, but he's the strangest person to use dialogue. But it does lead me to my favorite quote of the movie.
I hope it's the one that I think you're gonna say.
Okay, let's hold on. You have a quote in your mind? Okay, on the count of three, let's do our quotes. Okay, 1, 2, 3.
I
You
could
wouldn't have
never
this
build
problem if you
walls.
stayed on your side of the bed.
Oh, okay, okay. It was the same scene actually, because
Same
he
thing.
says that she gets pissed, and then he decides I'm gonna go sleep in the lobby because there's a couch down there with a sense of humor, and then he says
Right.
something like, "I could never build walls as fast as you can," or something like that.
Yeah, I had that quote written down too. It's the weirdest quote. I'm like, were they fighting? They weren't even having a conversation. My quote
Like
was
he's
when he
the
raped.
expert on emotions.
Yeah, I know. All of a sudden, Rip is psychotherapist, and he analyzed the poor girl. My quote was Rip jumps on the bed and breaks it, and she kind of rolls into him, and then he just says,
Yeah,
"We wouldn't have this problem if you stayed on your side of the bed." I'm like, what is this scene? It's so awkward, and then somehow she's like into him after that.
it's like the Flintstones wedding night or something. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, yeah, it was really odd. This movie goes in a lot of places. So my pending questions for the movie.
Okay.
Um, did Rip kill Zeus? Is Zeus dead?
Yeah, I kind of noticed that at the end because I think he might have killed Zeus. Zeus, I gotta think Zeus is still alive. Definitely killed Brel. Brel is definitely dead. He got
Brell's dead.
electrocuted. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, it's so Rip just kills a man. And this,
possibly too.
yeah, he throws him in the ring, and he has a little trickle of blood, which like in the 80s, a little trickle of blood from here meant death.
Yep. And then
You
the
were dead.
crowd starts cheering, and they're all dressed up like they're at a Bruce Wayne gala. They're all wearing,
They're
nice
wearing
dresses and tuxedos
tuxedos.
to watch a
Yeah,
wrestling match. Yeah.
yeah. Strange. It was yeah, like they were going to like a wedding or something, or wearing tuxedos and evening gowns. It was yeah,
And
it was odd. It was
the
an
ring
odd.
was like an octagon. It was either 6 or 8 sided. I didn't count it, but it had more sides than a regular ring. I think they invented the octagon.
Yeah, they call it something though. They don't call it the octagon though in the movie. What do they call it? They call it like
Who knows?
the hectagon or something.
Yeah,
So
probably.
maybe did well that begs the question, did this movie invent the octagon?
I think so. No holds barred started it all.
Well, maybe we can up it to 12% on Rotten Tomatoes for that.
It's gone full squared circle.
Yeah.
It's a wrestling term, squared circle.
How about most memorable scene from the movie?
Most memorable scene to me, it's definitely that Dukey scene when he pulls the
You
driver
like
out
that
and he
scene?
pooped his
Why?
pants.
That scene
I
grossed
don't
me
know. It's
out. I hate
that
it.
just made me laugh so much as a kid. And then there's another thing I got to bring up. There's a point where Rip is getting beat up the whole match when he finally meets with Zeus, and it's partially because the bad guys kidnapped Sam, his girlfriend. So he's told if he wins, they're gonna kill her or something. So he's kind of not winning. Then he sees Sam and he starts fighting back, and then he's finally like getting some offense on Zeus, and he looks over at his brother, and his brother's sitting there in a wheelchair with a neck brace, and he goes, "Yeah." It was this weird reaction, like he just remembered where he left his keys or something. It didn't make sense at all.
This movie's all over the place. What about okay? Next category. Recast it. Let's recast this movie
All
for
right.
modern day. I have three characters to recast.
I
I
recast
got
everybody that has a name, basically.
okay. I'm recasting for Rip. It's got to be
Okay.
The Rock for me.
All right.
Got to be The Rock.
I thought about
Uh,
going that way.
okay. For Brell, we need a creepy executive dude. Kevin Spacey. I want Kevin Spacey
Ooh,
for my Brel.
that's actually
And,
good.
And Zeus, my third guy. Jason Momoa. Those are my three. My three lead.
So you actually want to make money with this remake?
Yeah. I didn't even think about that.
No, those are good. Those are really good.
I'm willing to take a loss on this recasting. Oh, and then for Samantha, I just thought of this. We get the same actress. I'm in love with her. I say we keep her.
You know what? I looked up what she looks like now. It's not too bad.
She looks fine. She's like 60 years old. I say we just keep her.
Kind of looks the same, but with gray hair. Yeah, not too bad.
I say we keep her. She saved the movie for me.
Okay, so I recast a bunch of people, and I figured I'm going to do it all. I want the movie to stay the same tone, like play it like it's serious, but I want comedic actors in there. So I cast all stand-up comedians to do this movie.
A reboot, if you will.
A reboot, but I still want it to have that same tone because I think it would be funnier if they weren't playing for laughs. If they were like, Zeus really was picking people up and moving them around and stuff like that. So, those two stooges, the one is named Ordway and the other is named Unger. Those are terrible names. I might rename them. I don't know.
I told you, those are my least favorite characters of the whole movie. I needed less of them.
I agree. They were terrible.
They were terrible.
Especially when they end up peeing on each other in the creepy bathroom.
That dive bar scene was my favorite scene.
that was kind of funny. It was kind of funny.
By the way, every dive bar in a movie looks like 10 times more fun than any regular dive bar in real life. Yeah, every dive bar in a movie has like a chicken wire and a band, and they're playing games. Every dive bar in real life just like takes cash only, and half the bar like the lights don't work. So kudos for a fun dive bar.
This dive bar had a dwarf in a bird cage that was throwing peanuts at people. So that's an interesting twist. You're not going to see that everywhere. Only in the 80s.
Fun dive bar.
So Ordway and Unger, I got Mark Normand and Tony Hinchcliffe. Hinchcliffe is a huge wrestling fan. I got them being the Stooges. Okay.
Okay.
All right. For Brel, I'm casting Tim Dillon.
Oh, yes.
I think his energy would work perfectly. Like, you've seen his Instagram videos, I'm sure, where he's playing Megan McCain and stuff. I think his energy is perfect for that role. It's just over the top, insanely
you want to keep over the top
crazy.
With Brel. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. For Charlie, who is Rip's trainer, it's his old. It's like Mickey from the Rocky movies. I got Donnell Rawlings.
Oh, really?
The trainer. All right. For Sam, I'm gonna cast Whitney Cummings in there.
Oh, really? Interesting choice.
Physically, she's pretty close there. Yeah. And she's got to be tall. You know, she's kind of tall. For Zeus, I've got Ron Funches.
Oh, really? For Zeus, huh?
Yeah, because Ron he's a soft-spoken guy, but if he went in there and did the same movements and still picked people up, and he's like Zeus, you know, with his soft-spoken voice, I think that would be super funny if you played it straight.
Okay.
So
interesting.
I thought about Kevin Hart for a minute too, but then I remembered Ron Funches is a huge wrestling fan, so I thought I'll plug him in there as Zeus. He would probably appreciate it. Kevin Hart doesn't need the work. He's doing fine. For Randy, that is Rip's little brother, I got Joe Mackey.
Oh, really?
He's the perfect little brother character.
Yeah, all eyes acting.
Hey, Rip, go get him, pal.
Yeah.
And for Rip, I got Brian Posehn.
Oh, I did not see this coming.
No one did.
Rip, the main character.
He doesn't have any lines, so he doesn't really have to say anything, and he can do fart jokes, and it'll be fun.
Yeah. Well, yes. If you are continue down this road, you've got to have, for Battle of the Tough Guys, one of the guys that's in the scene for like 2 seconds, it's got to be Bert Kreischer in there somewhere, right?
Yeah, you put Bert in there. That would be good. Get Tom Segura.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm making the movie, I'm going to be in there somewhere. I'm going to be in the Battle
Oh,
of the Tough Guys somewhere,
oh,
even
you're
if
gonna
I'm
cast
getting beat
yourself in
up.
this.
Yeah, is beat up guy number 4. I don't need a line. I just want to get punched on screen.
Man, maybe maybe we need to add a new category to the show. Cast
You,
yourself.
we could be the announcers. How about that? Instead of Jesse Ventura and Mean Gene, it'll be Travis
That's
and
right.
Pat. We'll be
Right. Like we're essentially introducing the movie.
yeah.
Yeah.
I've never seen Rip with this much aggression. See,
Right.
we could do it.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. We put ourselves in this production.
Yeah, we're doing it. Why not?
Okay. Yeah. You took a turn with this. You went for the comic stylings, no holds barred.
Yeah, that's what I love about the movie, how ridiculous it is. So who better to make a ridiculous thing than comics?
Are you going to keep the title the same, no holds barred?
Yeah.
What if we just change
That's
it?
the best part about the movie is the title.
What if we just change it holds barred?
Holds barred?
Yeah, certain holds will be barred.
Which holds are barred?
I don't know. I don't know enough about wrestling to say which
The
I should
figure
be.
4. It's just a waste of time.
Waste of time. That's right.
Yeah.
Get it out of there. Okay, final category. Rewrite the movie. Let's fix this movie.
First of all, more masturbation jokes.
More.
I'm just kidding. Yeah, I would want to play it just how it was. I'd want to play it straight, but with ridiculous people playing the parts. Because I mean, you could. I understand the want to take a movie like this and actually make it decent. I kind of get that, but I don't know. This is kind of a cult classic for being ridiculous. So it'd be like if you made a good version of Plan 9 from outer space. Maybe it'd be good. I don't know, but it wouldn't be as fun. So yeah, I think this movie, the only reason it's still even talked about by anybody is because it's so bad. It's kind of like The Room.
Yeah, it's bad, but you don't want to change anything. You want to keep it. You like it bad. You're like
I like it bad. Yeah, that's what I like about it. How terrible it is.
You're like that over the top Rolling Stones fan that likes their bad albums too. You're like, nah, I like it all. I don't understand. This movie needs work.
You said over the top. Maybe we could like put maybe Randy is gonna become property of somebody else if Rip doesn't win. I don't know, something like that.
Here's my rewrite. Okay. Zeus finds out Braille intends to market him as a freak show. Like, like this, they're kind of like gaining some steam. He's winning some matches. And then he finds out, like say he's in the office and he kind of pulls back a folder and he sees some artwork of like him at a McDonald's or something holding children. So he's like, oh, this is Braille's plan. So he finds out he's intended to be marketed as a freak show, like as an Easter bunny and stuff, like hiding eggs. And let's see. Oh, so he doesn't like that. So he teams up with Rip to take down Braille's network. So sort of like he extends like an olive branch, but they're not going to take down the network like in the ring. There's not going to be anything to do with wrestling. They're going to take down the network in the courts. And they go, right. So they go to court and they're representing themselves and they have like suits on, but they don't have sleeves. They rip the sleeves off the suits. So they have a tie in the jacket but no sleeves. And they go to court, they go to court and take them down that way by legal means. That's how I'm going to rewrite the movie.
I like it because it's like if Rocky Balboa and Apollo Creed become friends, but then instead of boxing more, they like become lawyers, and then it's the Pelican Brief.
Yeah,
it's a nice twist. I did not see that coming.
That's my rewrite. Yeah, I went hard turn on that. I don't see there's any saving this movie when it comes to wrestling.
I think one thing I might change in it is if it was more like The Running Man, where people actually did die. I think that would make it like higher stakes. Because that was one of the rules in Battle of the Tough Guys. There's no rules, just don't kill anybody. I think you got to kill them.
You want a death. I could see that.
Yeah.
I always like it when they have the battle to death sort of scene, and the guy always says like, gentlemen, the rules are, there are no rules. I want that in every battle. I don't care if it's done 1,000 times. Every boxing match, every fighter, I want the rules are there are no rules.
I like it.
Okay, final main takeaway from the movie. From rewatching this movie.
The main takeaway I had from this movie, I'm looking at my notes. I made notes, everybody.
I had a lot of notes too, yeah.
First of all, I'm shocked that the term jock ass didn't take off.
Oh, I had that too. Have you ever heard that term before? I never heard the Brill calls Rib a jock ass.
About 18 times. Yeah, he just
keeps.
That? I don't know. So that's one takeaway. And then the fact that it had so little to do, with the exception of the opening scene where it's clearly a wrestling match filmed at a WWF event. Other than that, it has zero to do with professional wrestling or other wrestlers or like his workouts regimen or anything like that. And it's like where it goes into the Battle of the Tough Guys stuff. This was produced by WWE. The executive producers were Vince McMahon and Hulk Hogan, and they got everything wrong. I don't know if it's because they were still trying to protect the fact that it's orchestrated. It's a weird choice to make it so different and make it like it was real life.
Yeah. I was wondering if those like wrestler dudes in the movies were actual wrestlers of the day. Otherwise,
the guy he wrestles at the beginning of the movie was. Do you remember the team Demolition?
Okay, yeah, I remember that name.
They wore like S&M leather and stuff. Yeah, he was
had eyeliner on in that scene.
Yep, that guy was Axe. And then they had another wrestler that, what's his name? He wrestled over in Japan. He's like a cowboy guy. He's the guy with all the chew that comes out of the stall. I think Stan Hansen, I think. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Other than that, there wasn't much wrestling in the movie.
My main takeaway was, did this movie kill the future of all other wrestling movies? Have we had any other wrestling movies after this?
Last year we had Fighting with My Family, which is actually pretty good. It's a biopic about a wrestler named Paige. It's got funny people in it. It's got like Nick Frost from like Shaun of the Dead and all those movies, and it's pretty funny. But it's actually behind the scenes. It shows her training and how everything's orchestrated. It shows them trying to work out how they're going to get their finishing moves and stuff like that. So it's a more modern thing, but that's about the only one. There was one in the mid 90s that had David Arquette in it called Ready to Rumble. I never actually saw that one, but that's what led to David Arquette becoming the WCW champion at one point.
I don't think we got a lot of wrestling heat off of this movie.
Not at all.
It led me to look up other Hulk Hogan movies. So we had Rocky 3, we had No Holds Barred, and then we had.
Do you want me to try and name some?
There's only one other one.
Oh, there's more than that. All right, let's see what you got.
The only other one I found that's a movie is Suburban Commando.
Suburban Commando, that had Christopher Lloyd in it. There was also one called Mr. Nanny.
Oh, I didn't see that one on his thing. All right.
It has Sherman Helmsley in it. Let's see, what else has he done? I know there's other ones. I just can't remember them off the top of my head. But you can't forget Mr. Nanny.
Huh, okay. I'll look that up, Mr. Nanny.
He had a TV series called Thunder in Paradise.
Oh, I did see that. Yeah, I was just talking theatrical.
There was one called Santa with Muscles. That's another one I just remembered.
Really?
He was Santa Claus, but he had ripped off, kind of like your idea for tuxedos, ripped off arms, and then he had like a scruffy beard.
He's in a lot. Yeah. He's got a lot of scenes or movies where he's in it for like 2 seconds, type of thing. That's true. I can't remember that.
He was starring in this though. He was the star.
Wow. Well, is it time for a Hulk Hogan comeback?
I would say probably not, because he's not even.
Okay, fine. That was just a check on my part to see if you were mentally sound still.
Well, I did a recasting thing a couple weeks ago, and it was Smokey and the Bandit, and I chose for Hulk Hogan to play Big Enos, if you're familiar with that movie, but it didn't go over well. I was the only one that thought that was a good idea. So I don't see much that he could do at this point. I don't know.
My last note, and I pray that this is wrong, I found this fact about the movie. The budget was $8 million. It says it made at the box office $16 million. This movie made money.
Wow, it doubled its money. That's a success.
This can't be right. This can't be right. But yeah, I did find that on its like IMDb. So how does this movie make money? I don't understand it.
Well, I know one thing they did. They advertised it a lot on WWF programming, and then they also had a deal where if you bought the pay-per-view, you also got No Holds Barred that you could watch at home. So I think that's one way they did it.
Maybe they were like, it was a promotional deal. You know, when you buy like two of something from like McDonald's, you get something with it, and then maybe they just gave it to you. They're like, here's your 2 cheeseburgers, and you get No Holds Barred on VHS.
It would be irresponsible not to buy it at that point, right?
No Holds Barred. Maybe we're thinking about this all wrong. This was the little movie that could. It made $8 million. I don't want to live in this world where No Holds Barred makes $8 million.
For an Avengers movie to double its money, it's got to make like $1 billion.
Yeah.
This one only had to make 16. Piece of cake.
Hey, I don't know how it did it, but it did it. No Holds Barred, 1989. It's streaming now. We all can watch it again. That was awesome. I think we broke it down pretty good. Did we leave anything out?
I think we left no stone unturned.
Oh, I got one last stone we can leave on.
Okay, all right.
When Brell is promoting Battle of the Tough Guys, his pitch is the winner gets, I think, $100,000.
Yep.
But he says $100,000, and then he looks in the camera, tax free. What world is this, Brell? All right, No Holds Barred. Watch it if you dare. That was Travis Tate. Thanks, man.
Thanks, Patrick. Good to talk to you.
You too. Bye.
Well, that took a turn. I gotta be honest, I didn't think it was ever gonna end. But Travis is passionate about this film, and who am I to stop that stream of creativity? Did we contribute to the downfall of society with this conversation? I don't know. It's certainly possible. I'm sure some people will be pissed. Well, deal with it. Sorry. That's the show, and boy did it roll. Keep checking for more Running It Back. I've got plans. Thanks, and be well.